fired, puts it up, bang! Steph Curry from way downtown.
This is going to be a tough play. The Cavs with the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cavs have finally won it all.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
And Brett strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Rebound to Sol. Kicks it out to Odom. Odom throws it ahead. The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
That's right, folks. It is Real Sports, and that was a real intro for the realest sports talk show we got on the internet. I, of course, and Colin Morris, joined by the illustrious Sir Suge Knight himself. Suge, how are you feeling after what some have heralded as the greatest weekend of football, and it's Wednesday? How are you feeling now?
Well, after watching that intro, I feel like Matt just kind of took a crap on you. Like he didn't show Atlanta.
Fine, you know,
he didn't show any game hands. Game is it game hands?
Hens?
Is it game hands?
Cocks.
Gamecock.
Say Cox.
Excuse me. No, I don't want to say that word.
Go
Don't
Cox.
make me say that.
Go Cox. Go Cox.
With that intro, man. But it was a nice intro, and yes, after this weekend of great football, crazy football, people wanting rule changes. Realizing 13 seconds is longer than anything in the world. It was a pretty fun weekend. I really enjoyed it. We had a UFC fight this weekend that was awesome to watch. 2 title fights. You had obviously football. The two legends of the game go down in the same round. Crazy. And now we have 4 new quarterbacks. I think there's a stat that this is the first time in how long that we will not have Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
12 years that a conference title game has not had either Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady for 12 years, I believe is the statistic. Which
no, there's a difference in
my brain.
No, there was a difference in this. This is the first time we won't have somebody either Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Ben Roethlisberger in the championship title in like years. Like,
yeah, that one would probably stretch back further to like 05, 06. So
that's
you're
crazy.
Judging on like 18-year territory right there.
That's crazy.
16-year territory. And even the 12 years of just just 2 guys to have that prowess, and then 3 guys. It's just insane to think. We just never really. I mean, the NFL has been dominated by quarterbacks and teams over its history, but this generation of quarterbacks is just going to go down as go to the probably the all-time greatest collection of talent we saw at one time. And thankfully, there was the youngins were there this weekend to provide us with a glimpse of the future, a little bit of Ghost of Christmas Future and Ghost of Christmas Present, and came in the form of the Grim Reaper himself, which is where we're going to start. Folks, you got to start with the biggest story. Sports Center does not start with the low stuff. They start you off with the highs. We're starting off with the highs. We got to go right to it. Right to Arrowhead Stadium. Oh my goodness, Suge. Bills versus Chiefs. This is one of the greatest sporting events of like the last 10 minutes of a game I've ever seen. And it was so much fun. All 4 of these games this weekend were decided by a combined 15 points. That is insanity. That is just like mind-boggling. Just like I can't even begin to wrap around like how close it actually was. Every game had us on the edge of our seats, and every game was like trying to one up the other. And we got to start at the top. Bills and Chiefs. The nightcap, sort of. It started at like 6. It's very weird for a Sunday night game. We all got done a little bit early. The HBO shows, it was easier to get on for. Bills Chiefs. We got Josh Allen. We got Pat Mahomes doing things that quarterbacks in the same game have rarely ever done. risen to levels that you see, like you dream about it. It's like a movie. It's like it was like a boxing match. Every time one guy got punched, the other guy came back with another punch. And we would still be sitting here watching Bills Chiefs if we had different overtime rules. If they would have had the college overtime rules, we'd have still been watching it. It wouldn't have stopped. We'd be in like overtime 128, and we'd just be going for two over and over and over again. So we go through to the main points of the game. Gabe Davis, 4 touchdowns, 204 yards, picking up for Stephon Diggs, who had 7 targets, 4 catches for like 20 some odd yards, just absolutely invisible. Gabe Davis, he said, you see me, I'm over here, and probably won somebody a boatload of money on FanDuel on some daily fantasy. That was probably the best pickup of ever.
Ever. Whoever had him or bet on him made money.
Oh, all the Gabe Davis like single game bets of like 2 touchdowns. I think somebody put $50 down. They won $2,000. 4 touchdowns. It was crazy. It was like 3+ touchdowns. It was like some crazy odds. It was like plus 2,000. Dude won like 40 grand on it. It's crazy. I love looking up stuff like that. Like the Bleacher Report gambling sites, they show you like, look how much money this idiot made because of the thought.
Because he got lucky.
Some dude thought of it. Every time you think, man, what dude would have thought he'd have done that? There's always one.
Exactly. Gabriel Davis, absolutely. We were talking about before we came on. Destroyed that corner's career with that ending game play with that last catch touchdown that he made. The dude was just on it. He got open. He made some plays, and he was just able to get in the touchdown. Like that, he was like, attracted to the touchdown end zone, and so he played great. And look at Josh Allen, 20 out of 37, very efficient. He only incompleted 10 passes, but 329 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did get sacked twice, but and absolutely, a great QBR.
The stat that drives me crazy to figure out. Is this the first time in a divisional round that both quarterbacks have led their teams in rushing yards? And the stats are so similar. Josh Allen, 11 carries, 68 yards. Pat Mahomes, 7 carries, 69 yards, 1 touchdown.
That's crazy.
Give those guys the ball.
The run game was a little not. I mean, Clyde Edwards has 60 yards, but Patrick Mahomes has 69. Josh Allen had 68.
Devin Singletary had 10 carries for 26. He had triple the yardage of his starting running back.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
It's not a weather game. It was like 50 some odd degrees. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. No, obviously that ball was flying everywhere in that game. But it's tough. It's tough to watch this game and see Buffalo go down like that. And obviously, for 3 quarters, it was a really good game. But the last 2 minutes of that game was
iconic.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And I know, especially me, I got into a lot of arguments on Twitter because of what happens at the end of the game. But, you go, I mean, how does Josh Allen not feel like he won that game with 13 seconds left through a bullet to Davis?
I think that's the main thing that I've been struggling with is how do you satisfy anyone from a game like that? Like that game is like, I just watched Lord of the Rings, but it's like the final battle, the Battle of Minas Tirith, the Gondor. Like you're like, this shit should never end. Like it goes on for like an hour. And you're like, oh God, the second you think, oh, we've won. Oh, the elephants show up. And you're like, oh, we're all going to die. And then the ghosts show up on the ship with Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas. You're like, oh, we're all saved. And it's like, well, actually, we got to go do some more stuff. And every time it's just like, we got to keep going and going and going. Yeah. And it just didn't seem like every time Josh Allen was like, yay, we did it. We won. No, you didn't. You got to go again. And he just kept going and going. And it just never felt like he ever was allowed to be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And for a quarterback like him with a team very few teams have successfully built around their young quarterbacks to tailor their specific needs, quite like the Bills and the Chiefs. I would say they've probably done the best job out of this generation of quarterbacks. Yes, I'm talking to the Ravens. Like, you just got to do your best. And, like, the ability for them to have not just Davis, you got Beasley, you got Emmanuel Sanders, who's a 10-year vet in this league, 10-year plus now, which is crazy to think about. And Dawson Knox, who kind of came out this year in the playoffs in the last few weeks as a real safety blanket for Josh. And for the ability for everybody to have the confidence to step up, I just think I wasn't alive for the Jim Kelly Bills. Like, I wasn't alive. But this feels to me like there's more momentum behind this team than those teams had.
Yeah,
because
but they have the same heartbreak. They have the
same heartbreak, but there was more hype, so it hurts more.
Yeah,
like everyone was talking about the Bills. The Bills at one point this week were favored by 2.5 points on the road. It was crazy. Like, the Bills it was wild. And this is when the Chiefs had injuries and they didn't know who was going to play on the defensive line, and then that all sort of swung back around and ended up being like a 2-point Chiefs -2 by the beginning of the game. But to me, that just. Let's just get into the last 3 minutes. They go back and forth for touchdowns. He's got 1:14 left when Josh Allen gets the ball, something like that.
And had to convert 2 4th downs.
Crazy 4th downs. Absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and they're not 4th and 2.
No, they were like
5.
4th and 18.
I think it was 4th and 12 and 4th and 10 were
and having just watched Cooper Kupp, you're like, oh, 3rd and 20 in the game we'll talk about in a second. He converts that crazy 3rd down play. And you're like, holy shit. It doesn't matter what yardage it is. These guys are just going for it, and they're just shooting it, and they're just going to see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was working. Yeah,
and he played amazing. I mean, like, how do you, again, and we're talking about it, you're saying, well, how does he not feel, have a chance to feel satisfied? How do you not tell yourself, I just converted 2 4th down plays? I throw a touchdown and I look at the scoreboard. We're up with 13 seconds.
And it still wasn't enough.
And it still wasn't enough. And you got to.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, Legolas just shot this elephant in the head with 3 arrows, and it still was not enough. Like, it was not enough. We had to press on. We had to keep fighting. Like, every single time. Some crazy, like, yes, 2 crazy 4th down plays was not enough. And then he gets the touchdown, 13 seconds left on the clock.
So let's talk about
Patrick Mahomes redefining this. Like, how long is too long to leave on the clock?
Absolutely. And let's talk about a couple things because I want to get your opinion on them. To me, okay, so what do you do with this kickoff? Okay. I've heard people say squib kick it.
Do I have confirmation that Tyreek Hill is back there?
Okay. Was he back there? Okay. So I've heard.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if he was back there.
Okay.
Because if he's not back there, I'm squibbing it. If he's back there, I'm booting it into the end zone.
Okay. So I've heard squib kick it. I've heard kick it short of the touchdown. So you make them run it. To me, because I had the argument that was, well, if you squib kick it and they're able to run it back to get it to the 40, but you want them to run the ball. Because at least takes 5 seconds off. So you get down to 8 seconds.
Let me tell you how you win the game, Shug. Let's do some math, all right? How long does a squib kick take? All right, let's do some quick math. They kick the ball. Takes about 3 seconds for it to hop down, but the clock does not start until the ball
is touched
their hands. So you touch the ball on the 5. Okay. No, they probably touch on like the 10, maybe. They probably grab it, bounces to the 10-ish. They move it up to the 35. Okay. How long does it take to get from the 10 to the 25? Probably about 5 seconds. At least 5 seconds. At least 5 seconds. At least. And you got to assume they're hauling ass down to get them too. Next, you just grab the fucking receiver at the line.
You grab Tyreek Hill and you grab Kelsey.
You grab them all. You just grab them like the last Turbo Man on the shelf and you pull them down. And then it's over. I don't care. If I'm the Bills, I wouldn't have given 2 fucks how I won. I won. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to win this game. And you could tell me that Sean McDermott didn't know what was left, right, blue, or green because he was in a whole other stratosphere. he looked like damn near Bruce Arians did for the whole first half when he had his sunglasses on. He looked like he was in a coma or weekend at Bernie's. A dude didn't even look like he was there. Sean McDermott in the last 2 minutes was like a deer in the headlights. He was like, I'm just happy to be here. He's like watching the football game. Like, dude, you got to coach the game.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it just did not seem like he was. I don't know what it was, but they had to be so hyped off of scoring.
That they completely brain
I don't know if they mentally checked out.
And let's say so they didn't squib kick it. They booted it out. Okay, they're at the 25, which is better than what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
We're thinking they're going to be at the 35. They're at the 25.
Right. And then I only if I'm on the 35, I only need 35 yards to kick a reasonable field goal.
So you need 45 yards if you're on the 25, which is where they at. You know that. Now, I think you need to put some kind of pressure because there was 13 seconds. I think in that first snap, you do have to put some kind of pressure. But after that, you drop people back and just keep everything in front of you. And they literally let Tyreek Hill get away from them. Then they let Kelsey absolutely torch them. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you don't just get in front of Kelsey. And especially like you said, if they hold them and they call it defensive holding, it's only 5 yards. So you hold him as soon as he comes out the line, you hold him.
But it's not just 5 yards, Shug.
Is it a time runoff?
5 seconds tick off the clock. That's what I'm saying here. There is a whole other world where they squib it. They take 5 seconds off the clock right there with the squib.
You hold them one time.
Up. It's a 5-second kill.
They can't kill.
And then they got one shot. You got one shot because you can't do it again. You can't do it 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we talking about here? Like, what?
And I think you're absolutely right. I think they just, in their mind, they thought they won it. Then it happens. And give Patrick Mahomes credit. Give him credit.
He's a baller.
He didn't give up.
Straight up.
Give him credit. He didn't give up. They kicked the field goal. They score. And this is where I have my problem with what people are saying. People wanted to come out and say, "Oh, the rule needs to be changed." I'm going to say this too. I'm going to talk about this in 2 ways. One, if the Bills get the toss and they score on that first drive and win the game, nobody cares. Nobody says anything.
That's not true.
Team.
That's not true.
No. There's people that there might be people that say, "Oh, we need a."
I'm not here to talk about who won the game. I'm here to talk about a shitty rule that
and I understand
work.
that.
That's what I'm here. I'm not here to talk about who won the game or who's rooting for who. I'm here to talk about the rule. I'm here to talk about in comparison to sports in general and how atrocious it is of how football is the most variant sport level to level of any competitive sport we play on this planet. There is no other sport that varies from competitive level to competitive level in terms of rules and regulations than football. Basketball, for 99% of the rules, the only difference is how long we play. In high school, it is quarters, then into halves, and then there's no shot clocks in some states. There's shot clocks in other states for high school. In college, it's 2 halves. But you know what? The overtime rules are the same. You play until you have a winner. And just because one guy goes down and shoots a 3 with 5 minutes to go in the overtime period doesn't mean they win the game. I'm going to propose something to you, Suge. Imagine if you were watching the NLCS and it was Braves at Dodgers game 7. Freddie Freeman steps up to the plate and hits a grand slam. And the Braves are up 4 and the game is over. The Dodgers do not get to pitch. The Braves scored first. It's over. That is currently what football looks like right now in terms of the NFL. Because that is not how the rules work in any other form of football.
Can I tell you something? I don't mind it.
but it's not consistent. It's not fair.
I get what you're saying.
Rules
I get
are
what,
not
but
fair. The rules are
it's
not
been like that
consistent,
for a long
therefore you
time,
have-
though. But it's been like that for a long time, though. It's
So
been
that's
like,
right.
and listen.
We've been changing a lot of stuff in the NFL recently. And if they want a better product, and this
but they
is
tried
about
to
a better
change it.
product,
They tried to change it when KC lost to the Patriots, and nobody wanted to change it. Why is everybody outraged now? because it's KC.
we're all still pretty outraged. And mainly it was just because the quality of this game was so high.
I get it, but it's been the rules forever. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, though, and what's different from this game than most games, which I think you touched on, was the defense being so tired because of how they were scoring. But if the offenses weren't scoring like this, and we went into the overtime 14-14, then to me there wouldn't really be an excuse that defenses were tired.
So I get what you're propose saying. My fix, and my fix is just like most other sports, and I'm just dumbing it down to just play another quarter. You just straight up play another quarter. I don't care if one team wins by 21 points at the end of the quarter. You just play another 10 minutes. Just play 10 minutes, and you know, because then people are fucking with the spread that way. That's way more interesting. Vegas loves that. Like that. Yeah. That keeps people on the hook through the end of the game. And it's not like, you know, in an NFL or an NBA game and it's overtime and then the team blows them out. It's the same thing. You know, in my situation, the Braves could score said grand slam and the Dodgers don't score. But at least the Dodgers had a chance to score. And at least
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't like when people say, well, they should get an opportunity. When your defense had an opportunity to score, stop them. Now, when you were saying that the defenses were tired, that's why it was hard for them to stop them.
It just didn't feel like it because it was dictated by the coin flip, because the last 2 minutes were so back and forth, and it came down to a coin flip. It came down to something that had nothing to do with your ability to play the game.
But it didn't come down to a coin flip, though.
Yes, it did. Whoever got that ball first was going to score. What happens if the rules of the game, and they don't get another chance? That's the whole point here.
But what happens if Buffalo picks the ball off or makes them fumble?
Then they had the ball, and I would have been. That's kind of what that's what we're talking about. That it's not as bad of a situation when it comes down to that, because then the Chiefs made a mistake. And the Bills were able to have
but the defense made a mistake. But the defense made a mistake by letting them get so wide, because I think in that overtime they had them at 3rd and 10. If I'm not,
they had them on a 3rd and 10, indeed.
Yeah. So you get that stop, and you who do you have to play? That's my problem. It almost makes it as an excuse.
I'm not trying to defend what is. I'm trying, I'm trying.
You're trying to make it better. I get what.
Trying to make it better. That's the fight I'm trying to fight. I'm not trying to justify the game. I get the game, and I watch more overtime games. You know, my Ravens and your Steelers, we fucking went at. Who doesn't want to go to overtime? This guy. No, this team never wants to go to overtime. Ravens never want to go to overtime, ever. We do anything to get out of overtime. We pay child support to get out of overtime. We do anything to get out of overtime. We run every 2-point conversion play, no demand, to get out of overtime. Like, come on. Like, if anybody wants to get rid of this bullshit, it's me. So I'm fixing this by taking overtime out of the regular season. If you're tied, tie. I don't care.
And playoffs, I like the extra quarter, or at least
the extra
7
quarter.
Even 7 minutes.
I was thinking 7, but 7 seemed like a weird number. I don't like prime numbers like that. I didn't want to do it like that. It just seemed weird. But it's very strange. Oh, here you go. Buck says, should NFL add something like MLB has for runs starting on second base in the extra inning? I don't know what you would do then. The only thing would be is I think, Buck, to that is how college football starts everybody at the 25 and everybody gets possession. That's their version of you are starting on the same plate and everyone's starting equally, and we're just going to go and see what happens. I'm here for that. If they just say screw it and let's go college football rules, that goes back to 5 minutes ago, Colin, saying that everything needs to be the same across all sports, because it just makes it better. Because one thing I hate There's no targeting in the NFL, right? But there's targeting in college. So you got dudes that are like taught to do one thing, and then they step into the pros and they're taught to do something completely different.
Yeah.
So it's not similar. It's not the same rules. Yeah. 40 or 50. I think the 50. Start him at the 50. Or 40. Anyway, yeah, it's not the 25. I mean, we'd be sitting here for hours. 40 leaves.
Now,
40
with
leaves
those,
room for a
with those two quarterbacks.
For sure. For sure.
We're gonna say that. Yeah. But yeah, Mahomes really, hate to say it. I mean, this guy is just amazing, overtime, and getting the game into overtime. Pretty amazing.
He's every video game player I ever made growing up in real life. Josh Allen's not far off either.
Yeah, Josh Allen's not that far. Even Michael Vick. Remember Michael Vick in Madden? Oh,
yeah, but I didn't have to make Michael Vick. He was there when I really he was 04, 03. He got drafted 02. So yeah, he was in around there. You know who was my guy? Fastest QB in Madden 10.
Who?
Pat White, baby. Pat White. Shout out West Virginia's Pat White. You get that dude, and you just whip out the backfield. That guy's gone for 15 every time. Nobody could touch him. It was brilliant stuff. Bert, coming in. Dwayne, the coin toss has too much weight. There's a reason that 65% of the time OT is won by the team that wins the coin toss.
I saw a statistic. Yeah, I saw a statistic on it. I saw a statistic.
It was 10-1 and 1 this year.
Yeah,
10-1 and 1 was the record.
Yeah, I think. Did you send that to me, or I think Burke might have? I think Burke might have posted. Somebody posted it, but I saw it was 10-1. Yeah, I
that's
get
not
it.
good. That's a bad look for your guy, right? For your guy over time as it currently stands, that's a bad look.
But I go back to what we were talking about earlier, where had the defenses not been so tired, could you really then say that? Because I just think the defenses were, like you said.
Well, then it's just a different end of the game, right? Because you could argue that overtime started with 1:45 left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then they just decided to give the ball back to the Chiefs.
Yeah, but like you said, they were getting scored on so much that the defenses were just shot. And so to me, it's like I like what you said. Why am I yelling? I'm sorry. I like what you said about the just play another quarter. I like that more. I like that more than each team getting a chance, because
it just seems because I like the positive part about both teams getting a chance is that TV can dictate the commercial breaks. They know right when the commercial breaks are coming. As somebody that works in broadcast, we love those commercial breaks. And we love knowing when they're coming. I don't know what's going to happen by the time I get to OT. Pay the bills. I don't know what's going to happen here. We got crazy stuff. We got dudes coming on the field. That was crazy. Diggs tackled a guy. That was wild. He was like, shit, I've only had 7 targets and how many catches? Did he end up with 3 catches on 6 targets?
Yeah, where did Diggs go? Where did Diggs go? Woo. Diggs did not show up for this game. Burke, football is also the sport where in OT your team only plays one phase of the game.
Yeah.
I disagree. But
you don't get a chance to play all 3 phases in overtime. If your team does not. Okay, I get what you're saying. Well, I mean, but you do get to play defense, so you get an opportunity to switch the phases. That's 2, not 3.
Yeah, but is special teams ever make a difference?
Yes. Ask the San Francisco 49ers.
Big game. The big game. That was
big game. We can skip on over to that one. We can move over to the Sunday nightcap. 49ers beating Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, I just had to laugh. Because this score is insane. In Green Bay, 13-10. If you'd have told Aaron Rodgers on Friday night that he only needed 1 touchdown between the second and fourth quarters to go to the NFC Championship game, you'd be like, shit, I got that. Not.
Real quick, Reefs, do you guys prefer the college football overtime rules?
I love them.
He loves them. I
don't know if they work for the pros. I honestly don't know if they work for the pros. The way that it makes it work better for the pros is that colleges are so much more intense when it comes to red zone defense than they are half field defense. Just how it is. Colleges are way better red zone percentage defenses than they give way more big passes up than they do stopping the run or whatever in the end zone. They're definitely more likely to do that. Makes the 25 a bit more interesting in college. You put those boys at the 50, though, in the NFL. It does make it a bit more interesting when you give them the cause of, well, you got to score. And if you don't score and they scored, they win. And it just gives you that sense of you're in it. If you lose the coin toss, you're diminished, man. You just feel like you're so out of it.
I mean, remember when Matt Hasselbeck won the coin toss to say we're going to win the game, and then what happened? They lost.
Oh my god.
So I get what people are saying. I understand it. I just personally, for me, I'm fine with the rule, but I do with your suggestion, I would be okay with it. Making it almost a 4.5 quarter game if it goes into OT.
Yeah.
So if you're playing because usually it's 11, 12 minutes per quarter, right? 12?
15.
I don't know why
12 is NBA.
Okay, yeah, so 15 minutes, so you cut that in half, so make it 7 or 8.
Well, then shit. Like, I get that, and that's what I'm saying. Josh Allen probably would have done the same shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, we still be sitting here watching it. Like, to Shogue's point.
Yeah, and I like this. I like play an extra quarter. I say extra half a quarter, and now also too, then I don't want to hear if one team decides, all right, well, we're just going to run the ball and run out to Kyman and kick a field goal.
100%.
You can't get mad.
You can do that in Madden.
You can't be mad about it.
It's the way to win an OT game in Madden because it's only 5-minute quarters. You get 2 first downs. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, and you just kick a field goal.
You just kick a field goal and win. Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
If that becomes a strategy, I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather watch that game.
True.
I'd rather watch that game.
Could you imagine being a fan though of like the Bills if this Casey had done that? It would have been pissed. But Brandon talking about the 45 yards in 13 seconds. That's very true. How do you let someone go 45 yards?
It goes back. Yeah. I think my point of them just being in shock that they were even in it, like having a shot at that, was just crazy. With Allen and Mahomes, what would have been fun is if both stand still and whoever throws the ball the farthest wins the game. I love that. Here's what happens. You line up you line up Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. You line up Mahomes and Allen back to back. They both hike the ball and they throw it, and whoever gets to the end zone first wins. I'm throwing out crazy shit now. I heard one, or it might have been me that came up. I can't tell. I've just heard so much shit in the last few days about this. All right. So Mahomes gets the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Takes him 5 plays to go down there.
Josh Allen 5 plays off at there. Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about the 45. I was like, even with the 3 timeouts, it was still amazing.
Ooh, 10 minutes with 5-minute halves with kickoffs, and it solves the clock kill strategy. I like that, Dwayne.
There you go.
I like that. Okay, we're getting there. All right, Roger Goodell, hit us up. We're going to move over. We got 3 other NFL games to get through and a couple other news. See if we can blaze through these, but they're all great games. Rams and Bucks. Tom Brady saw 27-3 on the scoreboard.
Oh my God.
Damn it, he almost tried.
People were losing their minds.
24 unanswered points to tie the game, 27-27. And Matthew Stafford finally accepted the gift that God or whatever higher power up there blessed him with physical strength. It finally went to mental strength. The dude finally came through and now has more playoff wins in 2 weeks with the Rams than he did in 12 seasons with the Lions. That's rough. But the Rams are on to the NFC Championship game. Wow. It was because what a boring game. It was truly a boring game.
It wasn't boring as a sense of like
yawn. It was boring in the sense that I kept thinking Tom Brady had a chance.
Yeah, everyone was like, they're like, there's no way Tom's going to come back from this.
Exactly. It never happened.
And then all of a sudden, dude, dude, and the Rams just try to give this game away. And I won't blame Stafford. Stafford did not try to give this game away. The Rams tried to give this game away.
Jalen Ramsey gave the game away.
Jalen Ramsey, Akers fumbling the ball.
I guess the Akers, yes, Akers is,
and then Stafford did fumble the ball, but he recovered it. You know,
what we can talk about is the helmet to helmet contact after the ball hits the ground. Therefore, the play is
that's the call. But that's the call, though.
I know, but dude was already going for the head before the ball dropped.
That to me,
that's intent to kill. That's intent to harm. You know, like he's got intent with that. I
know. Haskell, who's on Twitter, was talking about. He goes, "How did they not have the ball at the field goal? The ball hits the ground. He hits him in the head. That's an after play foul, and they didn't reach the line to gain.
We're going to redefine what a catch is, and we're going to redefine when a play ends. That's the NFL's initiative. We're going to redefine everything about the game. Eventually, it will look like the South Park episode where they're tossing balloons up and chasing them.
Were you really bothered by that play in the sense, like, you think it changed the game, or do you think that it was just a situation where?
No, it was just something. No,
it seemed weird because you would think when the flag's thrown like that, you're like, oh, I'm actually first down.
Going back to the root of like why I didn't like the way the Bills-Chiefs game ended. I don't like to see shit like this at the end of my football games. Like, I liked how the Chiefs and Bills, like, hey, you know who should have been called for a fucking taunting penalty? Tyreek Hill, when he pieced the guy, because they've been calling that shit all season. They've been calling that all year, and they didn't call it. Do I want to see it in that situation? Absolutely not. And young Hockley, Hockley was in the Bucks game. That dude's looking for Ryan Seacrest's job. When he announces the penalty for Mike Evans, he
played for the Ravens. No, he played for the Ravens. Weddle.
Oh yeah. Because Weddle just came out of nowhere. Yeah. Weddle just came out like onto the team like 6 days ago, and then showed up, and he had a crazy penalty that almost lost him the game. And
Weddle cracked him.
So you're looking at that, and then Hockley walks over, and he goes, "We do have a foul for unnecessary roughness on the defense. However, he didn't get the line to gain, and
right, I agree with the penalty. I think, and if you don't know football, and the play looks worse because in your automatic head when you think of that play, you're thinking it's a pass and interference, automatic first down. That's what you're thinking. But because usually when on a fourth down, either they just missed the ball or
that was also it. It was fourth down.
Yeah.
So you don't see a play like that on fourth down very often, right? So you don't see a pass interference or a play like that usually on fourth down. If it happens, it's like third and long,
third or two or second,
right? Yeah. Throw some bomb up there, but it's fourth down. So rarely is I can't count on my fingers how many times a fourth down defensive penalty just causing the defense to get pushed back has really occurred in a big game like that. I'm sure it's happened in a regular season game, but it's for it to be that,
right here what Burke says, if Evans just hits the ball, if he hits the ball up and then gets hit, it's a first down at the goal line. Yeah,
good call.
It's a first down at the goal line.
Good call.
Yeah. So, and yes, I remember, Jeremy, the Steelers-Bears game. We won that game. Just remember, won that game. But look, and we in the Bills Chiefs game, we saw one guy get his ankles broken. Cooper Kupp destroyed someone's life in this game.
That was not it.
Yeah, when he did.
No,
yeah,
it was not. Are you not aware of what occurred here, sir?
What happened?
6 dudes were blitzing.
No. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the last play. No, not the one where he runs the in route. And,
Oh
and
my
homeboy,
God,
and homeboy, where he
where
shook
he
him. And
runs the
homeboy,
in route, and the cameraman made it seem like he was just open in space, and then
yeah,
two other
yeah.
dudes come out of nowhere, and he somehow splits them. Like, I was trying to explain to my girlfriend what I meant when I was like, Cooper Kupp is like verging on like Larry Bird white boy status, and she was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "No, it's just a respect thing. It's just like, like if Larry Bird stepped onto the court, on a Saturday morning for a game of pickup, he's
Was it?
not
Oh, it was
gonna
an
be
out.
the
Sorry,
last
sorry.
guy being
It was
chosen."
an out route. It was an out route. I'm sorry, not an in route. Out route. It was an
Yeah,
out route.
these deep out routes they're running now, insane. Like I don't know how they have these timed. They're
Yeah.
absolutely. They have to be the third look, because you can't be looking for that, or it
Yeah.
has to be an option that he has to be able to take that on a slant at this, or a post route it has to be a post audible or the out route, because he to be able to trust that he's going to do that, because Travis Kelce did it in the Chiefs game when Travis Kelce hits that
The
the one
post.
with
Well, up the middle. He wasn't even a post. I think it was just a
he
straight
told
up.
Pat Mahomes he wasn't running a route. He said, "I'm going to feel it out and do what I want. Find me."
Yeah.
And found him, he did, because he wasn't playing regular football. He wasn't going to run a play. He was just going to figure it out. So he was going to beat the defense on his own and adjust to the defense, which I think is a very, obvious thing to do. But to actually hear somebody say they're doing it, it's like, oh, cool.
I think Antonio Brown used to do it a lot with the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
He used to do it a lot. But that out route.
Absolutely, Buck. You got to think about that kind of stuff. I think about this shit all the time. And this is
Sure.
why Alabama receivers are so good. This is why LSU receivers are so good when they come into the league. They go up against the best of the best in practice every single day. And those guys in practice give them their all. I remember there was a video of just like Rashad Bateman going up against Marlon Humphrey in like no pads practice in like July. And he beat him on a go up route on a go ball in the end zone. And Humphrey's like, that's the kind of shit we like to see. Like, I'm not taking it easy on this guy, but it's kind of like those guys want to be tested by the best guys, and it pushes them to be better. And to be able to go up against Jalen Ramsey now for 3 years, and I would love to know what Jalen Ramsey thinks about the difference between having Jared Goff throw balls in practice and Matt Stafford throw the ball in practice. I'd love to know that conversation. Put him in the barbershop chair, LeBron James.
Right. Off topic, who was when we saw when the teams used to cross practice during the summer? It was a Redskins, and was it Texans when they got in the corner and got in the fight?
Yes.
Was it, if I think of the right team?
You're on the right track. It would have been one of the teams would have been on. It was on Hard Knocks.
I believe so. But I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. So it's that kind of stuff, but in practice, and it's the ability for the top players to raise themselves in practice when they know they need to make somebody better. Like I want to see the wide receivers hanging out with the DBs. I want to see the offensive tackles hanging out with the defensive ends. Why? Those are the guys you need to be fucking talking to, not the other wide receivers on the team about how well they've done against other dudes in their careers. Ask dudes that have been beat why they were beat. Why were you beat on this play? Why? And it seems like Cooper Kupp is asking the right questions. And it just seems like he's getting all the right answers.
I don't know if this is a troll. I'm not going to bring it up, but unpopular opinion: Jake Paul beats Ngannou in boxing. Yeah, that's probably not happening. I didn't even read the name. Oh, I watch it for sure, but I don't think that's happening.
I don't know who wins, Jake Paul or a box of G.I. Joe cards. You guys tell me. I don't know. That's an internet joke. If people get it.
That is a very good internet joke. But Tom Brady doesn't. I mean, let's talk about Tom Brady real quick though before we move on. I mean, he's down, and then he brings them back, and in the end like that, and the play that Stafford throws to Kupp, D'Angelo Hall and
D'Angelo Hall and DeAndre Hopkins. Yep.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. And Stafford throws that ball to Kupp to kick the field goal, and then you see if there's a TikTok.
That's the play I'm talking about, though. That's when Bruce Arians came out after the game and said, "Not everybody knew we were blitzing." So you only had 6 guys blitzing, and it should have been 8.
That's crazy.
It was wild. It was wild. Like, a coach came out and he's like, you want to bash anyone? Bash me. Because not everyone knew we were blitzing. That's it. That's the answer. I love that. There's no, like, speculation. There's no bullshit. Coach just comes out and is like, you want to know what fucking happened? Not everybody was blitzing. You know what's going to happen when not everybody's blitzing? That. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. And I mean, God damn it, Tom Brady. Like, I wish he would just got blown out because he almost came back. What?
Is this it? Did we watch Tom
For
Brady's
him?
football game?
Actually, I heard Dwayne say something on a stream. He said, if y'all wanted Tom Brady to retire, I would have let him win a Super Bowl this year, and then he could have left on top. This fool might come back now and try to win another one just because he's pissed off now.
I don't know if he's going to do it on the Bucks, though.
Not without the talent that he had. He lost. Everyone got hurt. Yeah.
Wirth got hurt. You're losing Godwin. You're like, that's definitely the last game we ever saw.
So maybe
Gronk's not coming back. Right?
So maybe Tom will probably hang it up just because he just doesn't.
I don't know if he wants to go through free agency again.
Yeah, but who's he going to go to? Who's the Ravens? You guys got Lamar Jackson,
Ravens, bro. He go to the Steelers before he comes to the Ravens.
Oh, he never. If he came to the Steelers,
the hell are you talking about?
I think Rodgers. Buck, you were saying Denver when we were talking earlier, possibly Pittsburgh, but I don't think so.
Dude, if I see Aaron Rodgers in a fucking Pittsburgh jersey, you see that window right there?
I think we're gonna see a Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I'm there too. I'm there too. Same window, yeah. Same time.
I think we're gonna see. I think we'll see that before we see Rodgers. But I think Brady might retire.
On Jeopardy in the summer. I know that's a fact.
Yeah. If anything, Rodgers in Denver or on the Packers. It's either Denver, Packers, Steelers, maybe Indianapolis.
Maybe Indy. Yeah, Indy's a maybe.
Those
AFC
teams.
though. No NFC. Except for Packers. No.
Could you imagine if Brady went to Indy and then won a championship?
That'll never happen.
That'd be hilarious, though. He went to Indy, where Peyton Manning
live in is where Brady has to go to the 49ers after Jimmy G can't win another Super Bowl.
Oh,
that's the world I want to live.
Could you imagine Tom Brady with Deebo Samuels?
Oh, I was imagining it the other day, and I visualized Deebo coming off the right side, and he makes the jet sweep, right? Mm-hmm. And Brady pitches it, and then Brady's got to move into a legitimate blocking position. This is the play. Tom, you have to move in front of them. And Tom is like, all right, boys, I'm coming to block. And then he lays somebody out like Andrew Luck laid that dude out in that postseason or the preseason game where he hit a guy and everyone talked about it for 5 days of should you be pushing that hard in preseason? And everyone's like, should Tom Brady be laying himself out? And everyone's like, fuck yeah, he should. It's screw it.
You know who I feel bad for? Cincinnati and Tennessee, because they played a great game.
Oh, and then everyone else is like,
everyone just said, hold my beer.
Okay. The way that I described it was when you go to a music festival and there's headliners Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Friday headliner is fucking awesome. And then the Saturday headliner is a banger. And then Sunday's a banger, and you forgot about Friday already. You don't even remember Friday. Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers went to the Titans would probably be very high up there.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. I'm going to take
that away. Aaron Rodgers with Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and Brown. Oh my goodness, that would be crazy. Yeah, I feel bad for. Look at Cincinnati has won 2 playoff games. In this year, and everyone's just not talking.
Joe Burrow got to the AFC Championship game in half the time that it took Lamar Jackson. I'm pissed.
But they can't. They're going to have to play way better against Casey.
If you told anyone after they drafted Jamar Chase, the whole world was shitting on them for not taking Penei Sewell. The whole world, me included, railing on them. Dude has a torn ACL, recovering from a torn ACL, incredible stuff. And they're like, no, we're going to go get his best friend. and they're going to shock the fucking world. But the problem is they already shocked the world once by beating the Chiefs. I don't know if they can do it again.
They better play better than what they played.
You better put your fucking Pampers on.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be rough. There ain't no bathroom breaks on this flight.
But I'll tell you this, though. AFC North teams can have done this before.
Oh, go on the road, go beat the fuck out of somebody? Hell yeah, and it ain't in the snow. Oh, hell yeah. Bengals are like, I'd rather be going to play the Chiefs. I don't know. The Chiefs home field is fucking crazy. They're the closest thing to an AFC North home field advantage outside of the AFC North in terms of just rocking fan bases. Like, you know how like Ravens have 7 Nation Army. Steelers have the towels. Doesn't matter what song's playing, the towels are waving.
Renegade? What? No, it matters.
Well, yeah, I know. It could be any song, though. Y'all got any banger, y'all wave them damn towels. It doesn't matter where it's at. Browns got the pound. Bengals need something. And right now, the Bengals are in a position to do something that none of these 3 teams have done before. Beat Pat Mahomes when it matters. I beat Pat Mahomes in week 3. You know what week 3 of this season feels like to me? Like high school. Like, I don't even remember week 3 of this season. That game was crazy.
Hey, Colin, you remember when you were 8-3?
Oh my God, dude. No. You know what happened when we were 8-3? We traded Trace McSorley and we went 1-8 afterwards. It was brilliant, or whatever. Like, it was wild. We traded.
I think you guys lost. Did you guys lose every game?
Yep.
That's crazy.
0-8.
That is nuts. No, you didn't go 0-8. You didn't go
0-7. 0-6. No, 0-6.
Yeah, you're 0-6. I was like, you didn't go 0-8. No, you went 0-6.
0-6.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Wild.
Craziness.
And you know what the best part about this is? We're coming back around to some positive Ravens news before we get into our picks for next week. Ravens are looking to bring back Mike McDonald after his sabbatical to Michigan, Harbaugh to Harbaugh. He left the Ravens staff to go be the defensive coordinator at Michigan, built one of the best defenses in the last 15 years of college football outside of the SEC, and now he's coming back to the Ravens.
Did you hear about the coach real quick before we do our picks? Byron Leftwich hired as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did that just happen? When did that happen?
Happened earlier, I guess.
Oh my goodness, good for him. That was the easiest one to pick, though.
But that's awesome, though.
He was their quarterback. It fit.
I love when Byron Leftwich joined the Steelers, and then he got to play a couple games.
Vibe. I knew we were going to beat you guys.
No, that's when we won the Super Bowl. When Ben got hurt in the middle of the year, Byron Leftwich played against like Washington and somebody else.
You didn't play us though. I think we had already played.
No, I think we beat you guys. No. We beat you guys in the AFC title game that year.
Oh,
it's not official.
Oh my
it's not
God.
official.
It was so long ago. Holy shit,
dude! I was watching the other day before the Steelers game. I was watching a bunch of Ben's old games, and he beat the Ravens a lot. Y'all beat us the one playoff game, but we beat you like in the divisional round.
We'd have your number
AFC
in the regular season, and then Ben would just like walk in as the wild card in a divisional round and be like, fuck off. Like, no.
Well, we beat you once in the divisional round, but then we beat you in the AFC title game like twice.
Two or 3 times. What? Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It
was like a 9-3. It was my favorite Ravens. Like, people thought like
Leftwich isn't hired officially. Okay. Well.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I knew I hadn't seen that Adam Schefter tweet yet, but he's the leading man going in, and I'd probably say the most sure one outside of that would probably be Brian Flores to Houston, because he was.
I think Pittsburgh. It was who was Pittsburgh trying to talk to? I saw it earlier, but I forgot. They're trying to talk to someone
for what?
Because our defensive coordinator retired. Butler retired.
Oh yeah.
So
I was like,
all right, let's get our picks in. Let's talk some NBA real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Yes, sir. Let's roll over. We have the conference championship weekend all on Sunday. God, how great is days of football? We can they do one game a day? Do a Saturday night game? Do a Sunday night game? Y'all, come on.
Yeah, and real quick, if you're in the chat, I want you to drop your picks also. Yes, Byron Leftwich he had that weird release. Not that weird.
It was
weird, but it was almost like a Dan Marino, like just like flinging it. But
You
I
know
love
who
the way
reminded me? You know who started throwing like him? RG3. RG3 would do that thing when he was in college where he would fling it and then he'd like pull it back because he would say, I'm like putting it on a string. That's what he said. He was, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I loved when Byron Leftwich played. I was a big fan of it, especially I loved watching him play.
Okay.
Especially when he played for Jacksonville.
So, because we only have 2 games, we're going to pick everything, Suge. We're going to pick the game, we're going to pick the spread, and we're going to pick the over. All right? It's going to be fun. We're going to figure this thing out. All right. We got Bengals, Chiefs, 3 o'clock, coming in hot on a Sunday. Quick little preview. You got 2 high-flying offenses. You already know, folks. The only positional battle that is won by either team outright is Patrick Mahomes a way better quarterback. But when I stack up the positional players, that the depth of the Bengals versus the top heaviness of the Chiefs, it evens itself out. So Joe Burrow has to be the X factor in this game.
Also, too, is Tyrone Matthews, correct?
Tyrann Matthews, the one that got injured. Yeah.
Is he playing in this game?
I do not have an update on him, but the spread suggests he is probably going to play.
Okay. Jeremy, we're Pittsburgh is also I think Pittsburgh's trying to get Eric Bentley as a defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. I think he deserves a job, but I would like him as our defensive coordinator. Personally, that's where I want to see him.
Enemy have a job?
Well, with KC right now, yeah, or not defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. We want him as offensive coordinator. Why did I say defense? Jesus Christ!
Why would he leave them to come to you?
Why wouldn't you?
Do you know how much money that guy's getting paid to not be a head coach?
But from what I hear, he's
That's
not
like
actually
being
calling
the
the
backup
plays.
quarterback on a college football team. It's like life is easy. Like, why would you leave Pat Mahomes? I can live with this guy forever.
Yeah, that's true.
I would be that guy's. I would if I ask me if I'd rather be the offensive coordinator for a really good quarterback forever, or go be a head coach for a team that I don't know.
Oh, we don't want him as a head coach. We want him as an OC. But
well, I just mean if I'm then taking a grand scheme of people are coming for him hard to be a head coach. If I'm him, I wouldn't leave.
Unless they tell him we'll give you full control, then. What are you doing? A horse of a impression of a horse? All right, let's pick this game. KC Cincinnati.
3 o'clock. We got a 7-point spread in favor of Kansas City. The over is sitting at 54.5. God, this is going to be so much fun. I have no idea what to do here. What do you think, Sugar? Should I listen to my heart or my head?
I think I'm going to take the under, and I think it's going to be 27-21 in favor of Kansas City.
Do they cover? 7-point spread.
No, it's going to be a 6-point
Bengals
game.
cover.
Bengals cover.
All right, I am. Okay, look, Shook. We got 2 AFC North guys in here. All right. I have a very special relationship with Joe Burrow. It's not like many other people's relationship with Joe Burrow. During lockdown, one of my best friends and I started a fantasy Madden league where we redrafted the entire league, the whole thing. And I unfortunately waited on quarterback, and I had Teddy Bridgewater and had to play a whole season of football with Teddy Bridgewater. Okay. And then I drafted Joseph Burrow, and we won 5 Super Bowl championships over the course of the next 9 seasons. I love this man. I'm picking the fucking Bengals. I can't believe this word came out of my mouth. I am picking the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. It is going to be absolutely amazing. KC covers, though. KC covers. It's going to come down to another Evan McPherson hey, boys, looks like we're going to the AFC Championship. Coldest shit I've ever heard in my life from a kicker in the last second of a game. Balls on that guy. And in that case, I mean, I got to take the over. 54.5. I mean, if the Bengals win, it's the over.
Okay. All right. We got some picks in the chat. We got KC San Francisco. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good.
Niners Bengals would be nostalgic. 49ers Chiefs would be a rematch, but my pick is Chiefs Rams. Okay. Burke says fantasy Madden leagues are the best way to play Madden. I've actually not played that. I haven't played Madden in a long ass time.
There's nothing more demoralizing in your life than sitting there with one other human being doing 53 rounds of a draft.
That miserable.
Miserable.
I think Bengals and Rams is the most exciting, but Chiefs Rams is most likely. All right, yeah, a lot of people have got their beliefs. I think the Chiefs are going to do it. Mahomes is awesome. You're going to be probably surprised for my next pick for the next game, but yeah, I think Chiefs. I think Mahomes is just awesome, and I think Cincinnati's a little young as far as Burrow, but they're going to be a thing to deal with for the next couple of years, especially in the AFC North.
That brings us to the first of 2 games in Los Angeles over the next 3 weeks, regardless of outcome. 49ers taking that short flight from San Jose. So weird. You can't even say they fly out of San Francisco. They fly out of San Jose. It's a joke. Traveling down to the Rams. Come on, Suge. Hit me with some sugar.
All right. This goes out to my best friend that passed away a while ago. Hardcore 49er fan. 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl to get revenge on Patrick Mahomes, and Deebo Samuels will be the MVP. I'm picking the 49ers, and what's the over?
The over is 46.
I'll take that. I'll take the over on that.
Okay. And the spread is Rams 3.5. So that means they would have to win they have to win by more than 4 points for the Rams.
So I think the 49ers are going to win 20. No, I'm going to say 30-21.
Oh,
what's
wow.
what's the over?
Fuck.
What's the over?
Oh, that's the
40.
over. You're over by 5.
Okay, yeah, 30-21.
And they cover. Yeah, they did. And so the Rams don't cover. The Niners do. So you're taking Niners plus 3.5.
Yep.
Okay.
What are you going with?
Well,
You think Cooper Kupp is about to break somebody's ankles in this game?
look, dude, my stepdad is a diehard Niners fan, and I don't know if he's watching this right now, but he's probably going to watch it at some point because my mom does that thing where she's like, oh, Colin was on the internet again. And puts me up on the TV. Born and raised in SF. Dude's a diehard Niners fan. Deebo is a Gamecock. Like, look, folks, like, y'all think I'm playing. Like, my boy is a Gamecock from South Carolina. Like, we are not playing. Like, Deebo is the dude right now. He's on the cover of every sports page in this state right now. Okay. You're asking me to pick against Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey.
It's a lot of firepower.
It's a lot. That is a lot. And I don't know. It's just such
But do you trust Stafford? That is the big question.
He did it last week, man. Like, he did it last week. I always like to think about, like, the deal with the devil. And I love to go back to my boy Philip J. Fry when he sold his hands to the devil in Futurama just to be able to play an instrument well for a girl. Did Matt Stafford sell his hands last week to the devil? And is he throwing with devil magic? I don't know. But what I do know is that the Rams are going to win this football game.
There you go.
The under is what I'm taking. And I do believe that the Niners will still cover. So enjoy watching that game, folks. Well, if that actually happens, the Rams win, but the Niners cover, you folks are in for a treat. That'd be great. I couldn't write up a better game. That'd be pretty sick. Everyone in Vegas wins. Folks, we'll catch us here back next week as we discuss the NFL, but we have a couple more things, NBA and UFC, to break down before we wrap up. Suge, please tell everyone in the world why the UFC is awesome. Personally, my favorite fighter is the Style Bender.
Oh, you're Adesanya fan. I love it. I love it. Actually, he has a fight with Whitaker coming up very soon. So that's gonna be an awesome.
One of my
fight to
very
watch.
few UFC follows. So I have been like active on Instagram. He's like posted every day, and he's in the.
Oh yeah, I follow him on Instagram. It's
It
awesome.
really makes me want to go to the gym, right, Shook?
I wouldn't last 2 minutes in the gym right now. Yeah, I don't know if you didn't watch this weekend. UFC had a big card, 2 title fights. One of them being Francis Ngannou versus I can't pronounce his name. Sharon Gain, Ciyl, Gain, Gane, which was a 5-round decision. Ngannou, huh?
Is it Cyril?
Cyril, yeah,
Cyril?
I think it's Cyril.
I think it's Cyril.
Gain. Yeah, I think it's Cyril
I
Gain.
just go back to Archer, Cyril, I guess.
Francis Ngannou defended his title and in really, really unfamiliar fashion. If you know who Francis Ngannou is, the guy knocks everybody out. And he wrestled. He out wrestled Cyril and really put a lot of pressure on him. It was a really, really good fight. But right now, Ngannou almost got sued by the UFC apparently because he was talking with Jake Paul's promoter, Cyril Gane. There you go. Matty Gummer coming in clutch. Cyril Gane. Matty Gunner coming in clutch. Big UFC fan. I love talking with Matty Gunner. And he must have loved watching this card. But he's getting possibly sued by the UFC, or the UFC threatened to sue him because he was talking with Jake Paul's promoter, who isn't his promoter, who Ngannou doesn't really know, but they were talking. Because there's been, if you have been paying attention, Jake Paul has come out, or Logan Paul, one of the Paul brothers have came out calling Dana out for not paying UFC fighters, not taking care of them, wanting them paid more because the UFC makes so much money off of them. And there's this whole ordeal going on that
they don't have a union, right?
No, there's no union, and there's only really there's a lot of promotions, but there's
so here is where I'm like, if I was Francis, I'm lawyering up because I could change the face of UFC mixed martial arts as we know it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's always been the big issue with UFC is like obviously you have Bellator, and like I haven't seen a Bellator fight in God knows how long promoted like it was. There's not a lot of promotions out there. There's I want to say
it's called the Joe Rogan podcast. That's how my no shit. Like my dad doesn't really like my dad. I think he watched The Ultimate Fighter like a little bit. Like we kind of like got into it when it first started, and we were like, oh, what's this thing? But my dad, I'll call my dad on the internet any day of the fucking week. But like the dude would take a bullet for Joe Rogan before he took one for me. And he knows, he's like, hey, the fight this weekend. I'm like, oh, did your boyfriend Joe tell you about it? He's like, yeah, one of the guys on, man, he was talking about it. Like, that's what it is now. It's ESPN. ESPN has done enough with ESPN Plus in that deal to get UFC over the top. And now you have people paying for bars here in the South. I don't know what it's like over there, but I mean, UFC packs the joint out.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
And there's, even though I've had this conversation with the lunch break hot take guys. Even though boxing is still more popular, UFC is like, it seems bigger, but it's not as big as boxing, but it still sells out.
I would say that socially, like social media wise, their clout is more far reaching than boxing, but boxing has more probably total fans, like in terms of like,
well, it's been around forever. Yeah, it's been around forever, and it makes way more money. Obviously, even
which
like
is
when
no
you see
fault to UFC has to get to that point, and there will probably be a time where that happens. But UFC is a more diluted product than boxing.
Yeah, but that also is the issue too. Is they do make good money and they're not paying their fighters. That's why a lot of fighters have left.
There was no collective bargaining agreement after they got that ESPN Plus deal. I would have called bullshit and left right after that. I would have. Yeah. If I was them, I would have done a strike right after that deal, and my contract didn't change.
Fair enough. But they're I don't know. UFC's in a weird decision because Maddie could speak to this, they really wanted Ngannou to lose this fight because it was his last fight of the contract. So now he's the champion, so they got to try to renegotiate with him. And I think they really didn't want to because there was rumors that he was going to go do some boxing and things like that. But he won, and now you like even if you watch the fight, Dana White wasn't there to give him the belt. It was some dude. It wasn't Dana White. So there's something going on. And Matty Gunn is here, and I will say this: Brandon Moreno was robbed of his championship. The co-main event flyweight. I don't know, Colin, if you watched the flyweights, but
I did not watch. I did not watch this specific flyweight, but I do enjoy. It was good. It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno, and Figueiredo won a decision, and it was due to just being able to. He got Moreno at the right time, kept knocking him down, but I thought Moreno did enough to win this fight. But Figueiredo, because the old saying, you got to beat the champion. Like, you can't leave it in the judges' scorecards. You got to just beat the champion. I thought Moreno did enough because he was the champion to hold on to the belt, but apparently not. So this is their third time fighting. So there's possibly they're going to fight a fourth time now, which is going to be money. And I know I've talked to some people and they've said, if I'm Figueiredo, I just say, no, I'm not fighting you again. You got to go fight some other people.
Prove it.
Oh,
I'm a fan of the rubber match.
Oh, they're doing a fourth, but you didn't hear that from me. There you go, Matty Gunn with some inside scoops. There are some other good fights here. Michael Morales was a good fight. I cannot pronounce this guy's name.
Oh, I got it. The 47-second submission.
Yes.
They said Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, you totally purchased that name.
No, yes, I didn't. Nurmagomedov?
Maybe that's how it is. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of tennis. I love tennis, and it's Australian Open season. I got Russians and Serbians all up in this shit. I've been hearing weird names. I'm kind of getting it. Yeah. Saeed, but I bet it's Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Saeed, okay.
I bet it's Saeed. Khabib's cousin. I just call him that.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Anything we need to be looking forward to in UFC before I slip in a
well, we were talking about the Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker fight. That is going to be amazing. That card seems a little underwhelming. Nobody really crazy on here other than Derek Lewis is fighting in that fight. So you got Derek Brunson's fighting in that fight, but Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker.
That's
2 weeks. February 12th.
Yep.
Right before Valentine's Day. So that's going to be a
Super Bowl weekend, isn't it?
The 12th? No, I think Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, that's Super Bowl weekend, baby.
Is it the 12th is the Super Bowl?
Yeah, because next weekend is the Pro Bowl. That's Super Bowl weekend.
Oh my Jesus! I'm gonna be drinking so much that weekend.
Let's go.
Let me see. Hold up. Are you excited about that halftime show? Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Fellas,
oh my God.
Take your ladies out on Friday. All right. This is your word of advice. Take your ladies out on Friday. All right. Ain't gonna be no playing around this year. All right. You could take her out on Monday if you want, but who wants to go out on a Monday? Take her out on Friday. Get it over.
Yep. And then I think March 5th, the Kobe Covington versus Jorge Masvidal is going to be a huge fight.
He's amazing. Masvidal is incredible.
Yeah, so that's going to be a huge fight. And Edwin Barbosa's on that card. Yeah, so they got some good fight nights and some good cards coming up. So UFC is going to be very interesting to watch. Boxing, I think we're going to have, I believe, what's the big fight?
There's homie's coming back. What's his face?
Tyson Fury?
No, that's in summertime.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Gaethje. Yeah, Gaethje just got announced. Gaethje versus Oliveira just got announced. Who's this? I don't know who's this. Who are you?
Who this new phone?
Nerds. All right. So let's move on to what do you want to move? Basketball.
Yeah, I got a quick little thing before we go into basketball. Big sort of breaking-ish news out of F1. Lewis Hamilton is possibly going to protest this season after coming in second place in the Drivers' Championship and being a 7-time world champion due to the drama that occurred in the last race of the season at Qatar in Saudi Arabia, and not Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, and just huge drama going into was it right? What happened? There was an investigation. There hasn't been anything that's come out about the investigation. It's been very tight vest. They have not let anything out. And Lewis is basically saying nothing and putting the world into speculation mode of, will Mercedes not only have to replace Valtteri Bottas, his teammate this season, but also replace Lewis Hamilton and come into 2022 with 2 new drivers, as opposed to coming in with just one, the most highly touted driver in all of Formula One that has never won a race, George Russell. And he's coming in to Lewis Hamilton to be his wingman to take over, and Lewis Hamilton might not even be there. So it's just an absolutely wild turn of events. That it would be like if LeBron quit like 4 years ago, and we'd all just been like, "What, bro? You still got it? Like, you still got it." Instead of looking at like Brady and Manning and being like, "You guys are old," like looking at somebody who knows they still have it and they're walking away for other reasons. You never want to see somebody walk away from a game because of something like rules. You want to see them leave on their own time, not because them feeling like they're forced out. And that's just a wild thing. That'll definitely be something to look forward to. They start practice in like March. It's like a whole F1's kind of like my new addiction. I'm just so addicted to it.
You were telling me.
So
you look excited for it.
Oh, I'm so excited. But I love Lewis Hamilton. 1, because of the human being that he is, and 2, he's just him and Max Verstappen are, to take Stephen A. Smith, box office personified. And it's just unreal to watch them. And I hate to not see them race again. That's kind of where I'm bummed. I don't want to see that, be the last race we ever see them race. And it was one of the most controversial races ever. But we'll get more on that as the season comes in April. NBA, Suge, getting kind of crazy. Stuff's getting wild. We talked about the trade deadline last week. Let's talk about the MVP race because it's heating up. We got many different suitors for this MVP crown. You got Steph Curry. You got LeBron James. You got Nikola Jokic. You got Joel Embiid going off of one of the best runs statistically I've ever seen in my entire life. Dude's averaging like 29 points a game, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. It's incredible stuff. Suge, why do you think that LeBron is the MVP?
I mean, because without him, the Lakers would be dead last. Probably. I don't think they'd be last, but they would not be in the position they are. And even though it's still tough for them,
I would say if the injuries were the same and he was not there, they would probably be last.
Yeah. I think with AD coming back now, we talked about it earlier, and I think Buck gave me a hard time. I think the Lakers are going to finish in 3rd or 4th, and then you took the under and said 5th and under or something like that. I think that was where we were at.
I put it at 5.5.
5.5, yeah. I think if AD comes back and stays healthy for the rest of the year, and LeBron keeps playing like he is, he's averaging the highest points he's averaged since his rookie season, if I remember, if that's correct.
Who, LeBron?
Not I might have said that wrong. He's averaging the highest point total for it's been a while. I don't know how to really
Definitely
phrase
not
it.
his rookie year. It would probably
not his rookie. I didn't mean his rookie year.
First year. I would probably put it at one of those first years back in Cleveland.
Yeah, but he's averaging very high for his
Basically,
age.
it's been 10 years. So it's probably been a decade since he's shot the ball this well.
Yeah, that's what I said it wrong. But let's just be honest. If it wasn't for him, the Lakers probably, even with Westbrook and AD, they probably wouldn't be in the position they're in. The trade deadline is coming up, right? So do you think Westbrook's going to be gone from the Lakers?
Only way that happens is if John Wall moves from the Rockets and the Rockets bring Westbrook back. I don't know of another team that will take him. I do not know. I have gone through every team, and it does not work. There is no team that it works for.
Where would John Wall have to go?
I don't care. He can go to the fucking couch. But that's the only way that Russell Westbrook's getting out of LA.
It's crazy.
John Wall could go anywhere. John Wall, you know where John Wall's going to go? Miami.
Aren't you? Didn't you have a little bet going with someone in Miami?
I got Jimmy Butler for MVP.
And if he wins,
I'll tell you. Hold on 1 second. Nope, I tried to shorten that website and it turned into Usher and Alicia Keys singing "My Boo." Not quite what I was looking for. My boo. I have Jimmy Butler to win MVP at 40-1 odds. A $5 bet pays out $200. So there we go. James
Nerds,
is at 29.1 and averaged 30 during 07-08.
Wow, crazy. Nerds, we're talking sports. Obviously, our show is Real Sports. Yeah, and so, but I and then Brandon said, what about CP3? Obviously, you got the number one team, and that's the thing about the MVP race. It's just so weird. It's like statistical numbers. Without those numbers, your team would be bad. So wouldn't that make them the MVP? But also, too,
and the worst part about the NBA is that it doesn't even matter if you're the best player. You have to have the best storyline.
True.
In NBA, it factors in more than any other league's MVP discussion. It's what you did for your team, and unfortunately, Chris Paul did so much last year that anything short of winning a championship is going to look like not enough. And the MVP vote is decided before you win a title.
Yeah, Steph is very much an MVP candidate.
Who?
Steph Curry.
Who?
You know
who?
Steph Curry. Steph Curry. I think it's going to get very interesting in the second half of the season now that you got the Lakers are starting to get healthy. Warriors are trying to figure out what to do with Clay. The West is going to get, CP3 and the Suns are playing great. It's going to get very interesting. I think the East is very interesting. Our boy Matt is hollering for the Cleveland Cavaliers, saying this is the best Cleveland team they've had since LeBron, so
which is
see
true.
what they do. Which is true, but I think they're a little over-exaggerating.
And to your point, Suge, you said no one cares in our group chat.
Yeah, I know.
And Matt took it as, hey, man, no one cares that you're excited. But guess what? Here's a fact. No one fucking cares that the Cavs are good. And I'm not saying that as, hey, man, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're not on ESPN. They're not the lead story of NBA Live or whatever the fuck the jump's called now. They're not the talk of the town. Should they probably be talked about more? Yes. But in the grand scheme of this NBA season, nobody gives a fuck.
You know who people care about? The New York Knicks.
And they just got their fucking asses whooped by the Heat by like 30 points. It was embarrassing. I turned it on and I didn't even want to watch it. It was a 30-point game with 10 minutes left. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Did you see the score of the right now? Where did we find it? The Hornets score.
Oh, I'm sure the Hornets are blowing somebody out right now.
158 to 126.
That's Hornets basketball. That's what the Hornets do, and then they'll lose the next game by 1.
They play the Lakers on Friday, so that should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, they'll lose to the Lakers by 1 point. Are they playing in LA?
I don't think so.
Then they'll beat the Lakers by 1 point. That's like classic Hornets. They'll like whoop the shit out of someone. 158 to 126. Somebody called Toby Barkwell and apologize. Let's look at this box score for a second before I have a heart attack looking at it. Oh my God, these plus minuses are beautiful. 39 points from Kelly Oubre Jr. What the fuck? 29 points.
I was just checking to see when those Lakers and Hornets play. And you know what comes up? The Hornets-Lakers trade is headlined by Anthony Davis. They're talking about trading Anthony Davis to the Hornets.
For who?
That someone's talking. They're like, is there a deal to be had between the LA Lakers and the Charlotte Hornets? Would they be willing to trade Anthony Davis to the Charlotte in exchange for a package that would bring depth to LA? What would the trade look like?
So what you're
Are you kidding me?
Okay, so that article, the real version of that article is the Lakers sell low and just get back a worse deal than they gave the Pelicans. So let's compare this. Contract-wise, who would they have to give up? The first answer, now that I'm thinking about it because he's not on this box score, it's Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward would have to be the center of the trade. It would be Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, Miles Bridges, and 2 first-round draft picks. Boom. Wow. I just built the trade. And honestly, if I'm LeBron James, I have a hard time looking at that and saying no. I got a really hard time.
Really?
Because how many, if I'm rolling die, I don't know how many games I know AD is going to play before the playoffs. And I need AD to win games so I'm not in a fucking play-in tournament again. Because there are dangerous teams at the bottom of the West. Yeah. I do not want to roll into a 2-game series with the Spurs. No offense, but the Spurs are kind of a team that, like, I don't want to fuck around with Greg Popovich in 2 games. He can coach the shit out of anybody. Right now, if we're looking at it right now, if the league ended today, the Timberwolves would play the Blazers, and the Lakers would play the Clippers.
Ooh.
Does 7 play 8 and 9 play 10, or does 7 play 10 and 8 play 9? I don't remember. You were in it last year, so you tell me.
Was I in it? I don't know.
Pretty sure the Lakers were in the play-in tournament last year. Weren't they?
Yeah, they were, but I wasn't paying attention.
You had to win 2 games though, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't watch. I remember.
So the Timberwolves right now are like, that's what we're looking at. The Spurs are not even in the playoffs right now. They're 18-31. Lakers are two 500 teams. Both LA teams are sitting at 500. 25-25 for the Clippers, 24-24 for the Lakers. So you're looking at a really and then it's a big drop. You got a 4-game difference, 3.5-game difference between the Blazers and Lakers at 9 and 10. A little bit of room there to breathe, because then the difference is 5.5 games between 9 and 11. So Lakers just don't fuck up. You got a little bit of fuck up room. You got 5 games. Is that AD worth? I don't know. If I'm LeBron James,
I don't think you can win it. I don't think you can win a title without him. I don't think you trade him.
Yeah, but I don't think is he reliable enough to even get you to a certain point where you're in a position to have him there for the finals. AD's losing value by the day, and not just in the moment, but all time.
Yeah.
He's turning into Kristaps Porzingis with a ring. Like, he's a great stats guy in the regular season when he plays. Like, I just don't know. Like, it's all hype. And he didn't win a title or do anything without LeBron James. So it's like, I don't know what the guy can do on his own. Yeah, I know what he can do on his own. It's make yourself hate New Orleans so much that you want to leave. I don't know what he can do. If I had something else to go off of, it would be like, yeah, he might have something else. But right now, I don't.
Yeah,
I needed DeMarcus Cousins to even have a shot at a playoff series. Like, come on now, y'all. Come on. What we doing? I just don't. Anthony Davis just doesn't need to be the centerpiece of the team. He should be the best second man on a team in NBA history. And he's fallen, and it's given to him. LeBron James is right there. And the guys, he won a title. Mickey Mouse title, but he won a title.
Hey. Next thing you know, you're going to say the Dodgers didn't win a real title. Get out of here.
Yeah, you won an Arlington.
Shut up. All right.
In front of like 20 fans. No, seriously, it was weird watching like the Braves playoffs this year, and they're like running back shit from last year, and I'm like, where the fuck are these games? Like, it's in like replays of stadiums.
It was in Bull Durham.
Yeah, exactly. It was like you're looking at like the empty stadium when you're playing. Like, it's like you're watching like soccer now in Europe, and there's no fans in the stadium. And you're like, oh, what in the world is going on here? Just didn't feel right. There's just something about it just didn't click. Folks, we've been having fun. This is what we like to do. Sit down Wednesday night, break down sports right in the midpoint of the week. We've had time to think about the weekend, and we can look forward to the coming weekend. Gave you our picks, Just a refresher, Suge is taking Kansas City and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm taking the Bengals and the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. Completely
we
different.
are completely different. That is crazy.
Let's go.
Let's
go, boys. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a great weekend. Everybody enjoy. Everybody have a fun weekend. Have a great time. It's going to be so much fun. Enjoy the sports. This has been Real Sports. For Suge, where can the folks find you?
Folks can find me at Suge9323 on Twitter and TikTok, where I make stupid videos. Probably gonna make another one later on this week. And you can find me at Suge9323 on Twitch, playing usually Magic the Gathering or Apex or whatever boring game I like to play. And yeah, man, just thank you for following. Make sure to hit that follow button. Find me also on Monday, Spin from the Real. We are back with our new format, the wheel format. We're using a digital wheel now when we have guests and just us on Talking Schmodown. It's going to be pretty fun. So make sure to join us.
Well, folks, you can find me on Wednesdays, also on this network, talking Star Wars Saber Reels. Check out this week's episode. We dropped an early one. We just could not wait to talk about the Book of Boba Fett today. And also, you can catch all the other wonderful shows. Real Scared. All the stuff. You got Real Talk. Everything on this network. You got Real Geek Core. What else you need? This thing's got everything. We got sports. We got nerds. We got everything. What else y'all want? This has been Real Sports. I'm Colin. You can find me at _Seymour. I'm just talking BS, tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't worry about me. Worry about everybody else. Worry about yourselves. Everybody, have a great week. Be good. We'll catch you guys next week as we discuss championship and the championship weekend. Looking forward to the Super Bowl. See you then.
Curry sets, fires, puts it up.